Today on the Charge Up, volleyball improves to 6-5. Women's soccer breaks their losing streak. Football falls under the lights, and the panel debuts their bold predictions. Grab a seat and stick around. The Charge Up starts now. Hey everyone, welcome in to this week's edition of The Charge Up. I'm Gio Gomez, and with me today is Deshanae Andrews and Lindsay Miller. What's up, guys?
Nothing much, another busy week in sports.
Definitely some tough matchups this week.
I'm glad you two are doing well. Let's get rolling. Volleyball took a 3-1 decision over the College of St. Rose on Saturday as they improved to 2-0 in conference play and above 500 overall for the first time this season. How can the Chargers continue winning heading into this week?
Well, I would say that the volleyball team so far seems to be doing pretty good. I think the more that they play, the more comfortable they get. So I can see this win streak continuing.
Yep, they definitely were off to a few early losses, but they seem to be on an upswing. They're definitely having some freshmen step up and make major plays. Ruby Farah had 11 kills in their game against St. Rose, followed by Callie Greathead, who had 10 kills, which really helped them out.
Do you see any weaknesses coming up that could maybe kill the streak?
Unless they start disconnecting and people start doing their own thing, it seems like the teams are starting to know how each other played. The players, at least, starting to feel how each other play. So unless they start going off and doing their own thing or getting comfortable and not taking the game serious enough, I don't see it.
Definitely. If they start to get cocky, things can go wrong very fast for them. So they just need to maintain their humbleness and keep pushing.
I know it's pretty early, but they've got a win streak going. How far do you think this could go? Do you see them going the distance with it, or?
Most definitely. I want to see them pull through and go all the way to the championship. I think they have it in them, so I want to see it on the other side.
Past years, they've done really well for themselves, so hopefully that by the end of this year, they'll be able to do the same thing.
Volleyball will return home this Thursday for a non-conference match against Caldwell University. With first serve slated for 7 p.m., the Chargers are 3-0 all-time against the Cougars, with all 3 victories coming in straight sets. Women's soccer snapped a 4-game losing streak Saturday with a 1-0 victory over St. Michael's College. A late goal by senior Jenna Peduzzi proved to be the difference as the Chargers earned their first win in conference play since October 21st, 2017. How are the Chargers able to break through the drought, and how can they look to avoid another?
Well, first things first, I'm kind of disappointed that that's their first conference win since 2017. Like, we're in 2019. They need to get it together. But since they did get one, it means this is looking better than years previous.
They definitely have stepped up their game. They've been working on taking more shots on goal and taking more risks that are necessary for them to win games and come out on top in situations like this. Jenna Peduzzi scored a goal in the 76th minute, so that was very late into the game, but that just shows that they didn't give up and they didn't back down, and it ended up working out for them.
Do you believe this was the fluke or a perfect storm, or do you think they can keep this momentum rolling?
I hope they can keep this momentum rolling. I would like to see it. I think that clearly there's some type of drive behind it. Like she said, they're taking more risk. And risk sometimes is the reason why you're winning. So maybe if they continue taking those risks and never giving up in any minute of the game, then it will definitely keep going.
They definitely have some fire under them. One win is huge for them this week, so if they can just keep the drive, then they should do okay for the rest of the season.
All right. Well, women's soccer will look to make it 2 in a row Wednesday when they return to Kathy Zoland Stadium to take on Pace University at 4 p.m. The Setters have beaten the Chargers in each of the last 3 meetings, dating back to 2015. Football fell to Bentley on Friday, 31-14, under the lights in Massachusetts. The Chargers scored a pair of touchdowns early but failed to convert from there, as they fall to 2-1 in conference play and 2-2 overall. Do you think this was a fluke, Or are there underlying problems that came out of this game?
I'm so disappointed. I did not want them to lose, but like I didn't even see it coming because in the past they've had a good reputation against Bentley, but I'm kind of disappointed. I feel like their head probably wasn't in the game. It could be that the game was short. They had a less day of practice, so it could have been that, but I hope they bring it back home for homecoming.
Yeah, usually they play their games on Saturdays, but when they played Bentley, they played on Friday, so they lost out on their Friday practice, which usually is a walkthrough for them, so that's very important for them, and it really just shook things up for them this week. Overall, it was a pretty good game, though. They had their offensive line definitely had some flukes. They let their quarterback get sacked twice, so that was not and is never good, but hopefully they'll be able to fix things for next week.
So where do you see them needing improvement? Obviously, line's a big one since it stalled out and they got their quarterback sacked twice. Anywhere else you see for improvement?
I think they need to keep that same momentum because you had 2 touchdowns in the first quarter and you let the entire other 3 quarters go. Like, if you can keep that same drive and that same momentum throughout the game, and like she said with the offense line, maybe even pick up on the defense, then this should not be a problem for homecoming. I hope not.
I definitely think that another problem they're having this season is with their quarterback being able to connect with their receivers. He's not getting very many connections in the end zone, so that's definitely taking a toll on them.
Do you see them bouncing back next week or in the weeks going on, or do you see this as a start of a decline?
I definitely see them bouncing back next week. I think that the short week for them really was detrimental. But
yeah, I think they got it. I think I can see a win next week. I can see us talking about a win, and I'm here for it.
Well, New Haven will return home this Saturday for the homecoming game when they take on Pace University. With a win, the Chargers will improve to a perfect 11-0 record against the Setters in the history of the series. Kickoff is scheduled for 1 p.m. Men's soccer fell 3-2 to St. Anselm College on Saturday on an overtime winner in the 98th minute. With the loss, the team falls to 2-4 overall and 0-3 in conference. How can the team look to break the skid?
I don't know. I thought that this would have been their week to come back, but the fact that they made it all the way to overtime shows that they did keep the drive through the game. Maybe they just need to practice in different areas a little harder.
in overtime, they were able to get some good looks, good shots on goal, but they just weren't able to connect on them. So I think that they really need to work on that and try to use that to their benefit.
They already have a losing record, and overtime loss is very devastating. Do you think they're going to be able to move on from that, or do you think that might stick with them for a while?
They need to get over it. Because if once they get over it and they get past it, then we can focus on winning, because this is already one too many losses. So
I definitely agree.
Do you think the close game was due to the competition, or do you think that they're improving?
Improving. I think it was competition, but I think something is lacking as far as like the connection in the team for them to have a 0-3 losing streak right now. So something has to be done for the further games to have a positive influence.
What do you think their biggest thing they could do to improve?
I think they definitely need to take a step back and really reevaluate their whole entire team and watch more film and see what's going on, maybe some little stuff that they're not doing that's really taking a bigger toll on them in the games and stuff. So,
well, the Blue and Gold return to Kathy Zoland Stadium this afternoon when they take on the College of St. Rose at 4 p.m. The team has lost the last 7 matches against the Golden Knights, with the last win coming 2-1 back in October of 2011. Field hockey fell to 4th-ranked St. Anselm College on Saturday as they dropped to 3-6 overall and 3-3 in conference play. The Chargers have now played back-to-back games against the top 10 opponents and will play 2 more in the next 2 weeks. How can the team maintain their focus against some of the top teams in the nation?
Definitely keep figuring out what is their strong points and definitely using that to their advantage. They've already played teams that are not as competitive as these top teams, so playing against these top teams, as she said earlier, would probably be to their advantage.
It'll definitely help them see some flaws in their play that they might be able to fix and work on. And I definitely think that when they do play Southern Connecticut, that can be a good confidence booster for them, and they can see where they're at with teams that are more at their level.
Yeah, with that, they've been playing some of the top teams in the conference, and now they're going to go play Southern. Do you think because of the tough losses, they might have more trouble playing, or you think playing higher competition will have them doing a little better?
I think it'll have them doing a little better because they're already going with the same momentum when they were playing tougher teams. Now they're playing Southern, and it might be a break for them. It might be something where they can take that same energy, put it towards Southern, come out with a win, and then deal with the big guys after.
They definitely could use their game against Southern to boost their confidence.
So back to the game that they lost, they didn't score at all. What was the trouble with their scoring?
They definitely had some problems. They did not have any shots on goal, so when you don't take any shots on goal, how do you expect to score? They are playing some of the top, like we said, the top teams in the country, so that's definitely going to be a little bit more difficult to prevail in those games, but there's got to be a way somehow.
Maybe taking risk. If you're not going for the goals, if you're not, constantly trying and pushing the entire game through to keep getting goals, then you're not going to score, and then you ultimately will lose. So I think if they take more risks, maybe.
Well, New Haven will travel across town to take on Southern Connecticut State University on Wednesday. The Owls are currently 0-7 on the season and 0-4 in conference play. The last time the teams faced off was October 9th, 2018, where the Chargers emerged victorious on a goal by Alexis Ryder with 4.4 seconds left in regulation. First draw is set for 4 p.m. All right, before we go, let's all take a moment and give our bold predictions for the week ahead. We'll each pick a team or player that we think will have an unexpected performance and see how we did on the next week's show. So, Deschanay, what's your first pick?
I would say that my prediction is that volleyball is definitely going to win against Caldwell this upcoming week. I would say that because they've never lost a set to them yet, and they're on this 3-0 streak, it's going to be great for them. So I'm predicting a big win to make it 4-0.
Lindsay?
I'm thinking that football is definitely going to have a tough matchup against Pace, but football has defeated Pace the last 10 meetings, and they're hoping to make it an 11th, and I believe it will be an 11th, but Pace is doing really well this year, so it will be a tough matchup, but I think that the Chargers can beat them by at least 2 touchdowns.
I'm predicting that field hockey, after a devastating loss, will bounce back and win by 5 goals. They've been facing a lot of tough competition, and it's going to be a bit of a break to face a team that they've beaten about 7 times now. And after being scoreless in the last game, they're going to try and probably, ram it in their throats and try and get that win back.
I definitely hope this week turns out good.
I'm here for it.
So that's a wrap on the show for this week. Check out newhavenchargers.com for the most up-to-date information on your favorite teams. And for all your on-campus news, log on to chargerbulletin.com.
I'm Lindsay.
I'm Deschanay.
And I'm Gio Gomez. And we'll see you all next week on The Charge Up.